Sorry about that. Had a little blur there. Hello all, welcome back to my channel on this Tuesday morning. It's coffee time. You all enjoying your coffee this morning? Gotta have my coffee with me. Cheers. Today, this brand and video is gonna be it's Coffee Talk Imposter Syndrome. Who all knows what imposter syndrome is? Have you ever went through it? Have you ever went through imposter syndrome? I figured it would be a great topic to talk about, especially as we are writers. And if you're not a writer, you won't know it. Just in case you don't know, we'll do a quick way to pull it up. What does imposter syndrome mean? Just a second. My phone wants to be crazy sometimes. Imposter syndrome is a persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. Now, we all have that problem as a writer. We get afraid, we get doubts, and to me, it kind of sort of reminds me like a little bit of writer's block. But just to let you all know, writers out there, you're not alone. We all go through this at some point. We get stuck, we get a certain flow, we get good at it, and all of a sudden we get stuck, and all of a sudden you don't know what to write. I get like that. I've never been an author, never got a book published. As far as I got is my rough draft of my book and, trying to clean it up and play with it a little bit. But I still have that fear. I feel like I'm getting this imposter syndrome because I feel like, what if this book don't never get published? What if I never actually really complete? I mean, I completed the goal on the rough draft, but what if I never finish completing getting my book out there? What if they reject? I mean, it's all these thoughts and fears that comes to your head as you sitting there in your space or wherever you write. Some of you has a desk, some of you has your own office. I write right here in my living room right now because my place, like I said, is not finished. When it gets finished, I'll be probably doing more of my videos, more writing probably in my own bedroom. Right now, I have some notes listed. There are 4 of them. Hopefully, they'll kind of help you through this imposter syndrome. Number 1, you're not alone. Remember that you all are not alone as writers. There have been many moments me writing, just going through my average writing journey, and I asked myself, what does this piece really mean to me? What would it mean to my audience, to people that's actually, for example, we use Kim Chance's example. She's unfinished and wrote 2 books. She done a video about this. I just now watched it. Hers is a little different than mine, but the steps, the title pretty much is the same. But she even goes through imposter syndrome. We all, at some point as writers, go through that. Number 2, identify your fear. Talk about it. Ask what is your fear behind it. What's making you be afraid? Is it how you're writing? Is it because you don't have enough information written down far as something you're writing? Yeah, what is your fear behind your imposter syndrome? You all figure that out and you can comment that below. And one of the main things that I've learned, because I always keep notes and things like that around me, and I go back and I look at it and I'm like, wait a minute, I have to acknowledge it. You got to acknowledge your fear. Once you acknowledge it, it gets better each time. And number 3, remind yourself of all of all your victories. What was all the victories have you accomplished? Did you accomplish and complete your goals that connects with your writing, or is it separate from your writing? What was your victories that you done as far as in your writing that you accomplished? One of my victories is finishing the rough draft of my book, my novel, Emma and Her Mom Jane. It took me 3 years just to finish the rough draft, and I still got long ways to go. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm I get some of these chills thinking, what if I get more, rejections than approval? I mean, we're human. This is normal thinking as writers in general. This is normal way of thinking about this. So I kind of get stuck, but just to give y'all some loves and hug y'all, you writers out there, you're not alone. Just remember that. So I hug each and every one of you. Stick to what you love doing. Accomplish that fear, accomplish that imposter syndrome, and try to keep going. We can possibly see this amount of the problems. We can see it sometimes. Other people don't, but we can see it as ourselves. We're sitting there trying to get all this written down, trying to get the characters situated, trying to figure out the character's personality from this and that, the pros and cons. And then there's that fear of imposter syndrome comes in. And it wants to mess you up. It wants to steer your thinking and make you feel more negative. You want to start going to the positive and stick to positive. It's not easy. And just remind yourself, give yourself sometimes a pat on the back. Look at everything that you accomplished so far in your writing. If you wrote 3 chapters, that's great. Because you sat there and you wrote 3 chapters. You got 3 chapters written on that part of the day or within that certain time frame. Do you guys ever use a timer? So like you time yourself on how long you're actually sitting there writing? I think that's a good way to help you kind of outline and stay focused on your writing and stuff. Go buy your timer if you got one and time yourself. See how long it takes you to do that. Go back and look at it and look what you accomplished. Completed that story from that amount of time with your timer. So you kind of understand what I'm talking about. And the 4th question, if you wonder why I'm looking down, I always take notes most of the time. Now that one video I did from the asking questions to my audience, it was just thoughts that just come pouring out as I was going live. Sometimes I do that and don't have time to write them down. I have to go ahead, get my video going, get my stuff out there, or I'll forget it if I don't have time at that moment to write it down. But I wrote some notes down today. Anyway, number 4, focus on the things you can control. There's a lot of things out there, guys, that we cannot control. But if you keep in mind on things that you control, that will help you tremendously a lot. Give yourself small steps. Don't start and rush in something big. Start out small in your writing. If you're beginners or if you've been a writer all your life, still start out small in your writings. Don't try to jump on something, a big project. You're going to get overwhelmed and you won't be able to complete it. You're going to get stuck. It's going to relate back to that imposter syndrome that a lot of people, we all experience at some point in our life, a good bit. For example, I'm sitting at my space and I'm wondering, how will I finish buy my book and sit down and actually read it? And they give their reviews. These are things and questions that pops in my mind. But a friend of mine told me, just sit down, get out a pad or just your laptop and write 3 sentences. Not a whole page, but start off, just write 3 sentences. Before I knew it, I was writing a whole paragraph. And then I was writing more. And then I wrote 3 sentences more. If it ain't but 3 sentences a day that you just play around with, you're doing something. You're staying writing. Your mind's focused on those 3 sentences and not whole bunch of other stuff that you're not ready for yet. So just focus on writing your 3 sentences. And I'm telling you, I've been so stuck, and I admit it in a lot of my other videos. I get stuck. I had this feeling, and it gets ruined. Like my first book of Emma Jane, and it was awesome. It got ruined, most of it. I wrote like 30 pages, I think, on that one, and I just had to basically redo it. It's probably, like I said, she's been redone over like 3 times, my book. Because with the process of moving, I went through some divorce. I've been through 2 divorces. I've done a video blog on my divorce. It was a very painful experience in my time, a chapter in my life back then. But I do not regret my beautiful daughters. They're awesome. So I hope these 4 steps helped you out and help you realize, again, you're not alone. If you're going through writer's blog or your channel, YouTube channel, they can help you. Go talk to them. Kim Chance, one certain way, they give me tips and they inspire me in so many ways. It's unreal. And you reach out to these women and they'll help you, give you tips on things that I haven't completely got all the notes situated. These was just the first ones. And if you write stuff down, believe me, it takes a load off your back. If you don't write nothing down, how you going to remember when you do decide to go do a live stream video? How you going to remember what it's about? It's good to take notes. This was just a recent tablet we bought at the Dollar Tree, and it was handy, so I went ahead and used my journal. I just don't have it out at the moment, and I'll probably eventually record these in there. But you know, you just focus. Don't focus on so much what if or what if I don't. Focus on what you can do. Being a writer is hard. You got to keep writing. You got to keep pushing forward. And going through this imposter syndrome, it comes up. It comes in our lives as writers. But you got to figure out what is your fear behind it. What's making you feel afraid? What can you do to overcome the imposter syndrome? And that is figuring out what your fear is. You got to figure out what's making you afraid. What's stopping you from writing that certain sentence? What's holding you back? And the more you write, the more you stick to writing, the more better you'll do. The more better you'll become as a writer. There's a lot of people isn't writers out there. There's people just gamers. They're creators. They're creating their own game. And it's hard. There's so many competitors out there. Writers, gamers, bloggers. You got people that does recipes on their videos. Go check them out. They're crushing it. They're way up here at the top. I'm not at the bottom no more. I'm about in the middle with my videos. And I get imposter syndrome sometimes with my videos going live. I'm wondering, is it good enough? You know, why some people come on and then they just leave? I think my video is explanatory. I'm being real. And there's one person that said something on one of the videos I didn't agree with. She said something like, fake it to make it. Why you want to fake it to make it? If you're faking something, you're inventing your own imposter syndrome. Why do you need to fake something to make it? I'm not a fake. What you see is what you get. I'm the real deal. Everything I talk about in my videos, I try to make it explanatory. I try to make it how to. I try to make my videos inspiring for all of you all. So I hope these 4 steps in my notes has helped you out with overcoming or trying to get through your imposter syndrome. If you have any questions on this certain topic, feel free to comment below, like my video, and subscribe. And you all have a great Tuesday morning. Bye. Enjoy your coffee.